Chapter 27, Roomies. It appears that my mom is a last-minute chaperone. I told Olivia after I slid into a seat next to her. "Oh," she said sympathetically, "sorry." I noticed she didn't pat my leg. That was nice. Then she changed the subject and started talking about a funny show she'd seen on TV last night. That was pretty nice too. It was hard not having Jag as my best friend anymore, but I was beginning to think that maybe Olivia would be a good replacement, even if it wasn't quite the same. We played MASH the rest of the way to Minnesota. MASH stands for Mansion, Apartment, Shack, House. When you play the game, you find out which one you're going to live in when you grow up, and you find out a lot of other important things too. By the end of the drive, we had discovered that when we grew up, Olivia was going to live in a mansion in Hawaii with her husband, nice Andy, haha, and her 17 kids, and her pet llama named Ferdinand. I was going to live in an apartment at the North Pole with my husband Kevin, our 33 kids, and 2 pet unicorns named Fifi and Gigi. The future was looking weird. After several hours, the bus slowed down. It turned onto a dusty, gravelly path. Big brown, snow-covered trees lined both sides of the road. The bus went slower and slower. Each time I thought it was going to pull over, it kept on going, like the little engine that could. After what seemed like a billion years, the bus finally came to a stop in an empty parking lot. Everyone stayed seated. Mr. Todd instructed as he got off the bus, but no one did. We were way too antsy. The drive had been 6 hours, after all. I shook out my foot a little bit. It still felt itchy from insecure. After Mr. Todd had invited Mom. Unable was there too. He didn't truly believe I could do it on my own. Neither did Mom. So maybe they were right, and I couldn't. I guess I'd find out soon enough. Kevin stood and ran up and down the bus aisle. Mike stuck out his hand for a high five as Kevin passed. And soon everyone else did too. I stretched my arms in both directions, careful not to accidentally smack anyone in the face. I was a very polite stretcher. You could not say the same for most people. Like Liam, I noticed, was kind of inconsiderate as a stretcher. He was doing like some kind of yoga thing, show off, with one leg going sideways and one arm poised behind his head, with the elbow sticking out, practically jabbing Olivia in the ear. "Okay," said Mr. Todd as he climbed back on the bus. "I appreciate your patience. Let's everyone get ready to head to our cabins. There will be 2 people to a room and 8 to a cabin, plus a chaperone. Jeg and Elise, cabin 1, room 1. Hannah and Hannah, cabin 1, room 2. His mouth kept moving, but I couldn't hear anything after he said my name. I squeezed my eyes shut, hoping no one would see the tears that had welled up way too fast. I thought being an Explorer leader guaranteed me my own room. Sure, no one had ever told me officially, but it seemed like a natural perk of the job. Kings and queens of school dances got crowns. Captains of sports got their special sweatshirts. An Explorer leader of wilderness adventures should get their own rooms. It was simple as that. And all of the roommates in the entire world I would get? Jag? It would be so awkward. We had hardly said a word to each other since her party. Being trapped in a room together for 3 days would be torture. And that meant I would have to change in front of her too. She hadn't seen my words since last year, when she was nice. Now she was the kind of person who might make fun of them, threaten to tell other people, and try to make them worse, on purpose. I felt Mom's eyes on me from the way front of the bus. She didn't know everything, but she had definitely noticed Jeg and I weren't hanging out much, or at all, anymore. Mom pushed her way back to my seat and slid in next to me, forcing Olivia to scoot all the way over to the window. Mom, what are you doing? Practically everyone was looking at us as they lined up to get off the bus. Mom stood out like a fuzzy orange sock in a basket of green ones. I'm just checking on you, sweetie, she whispered. I know the roommate announcement caught you off guard. Do you want to talk to Mr. Todd about it and see if we can figure something else out? I sniffled. I did. But wouldn't that prove exactly what both of them thought? That I couldn't do anything for myself, even though I was the explorer leader? Yes, I said in my brain. No, I whispered back and sniffled again. Mom looked at me for a long time, but finally got up and went back to her real spot on the bus. Olivia turned to me as soon as Mom went away. Are you okay? I know you and Jag aren't BFFs anymore, but it's only for a few days, and we'll be outside most of the time anyways. It was easy for her to say. As nice as Olivia was, she still didn't know the truth about me. She didn't get why this was such a huge problem, and I was still too scared to tell her. I tried to smile. Yeah, you're right, I know. When everyone was off the bus, Snotty Amy dragged Jeg up to Mr. Todd. I didn't realize that other people would be upset about the roommate assignment, as I was. Snotty Amy didn't know she was doing me a favor, but that's exactly what was happening. I felt a very small twinge of appreciation for her. There has been a mistake, she insisted, with Jag nodding in agreement and me watching from not too far away. I had never seen Snotty Amy look so upset. Her face was bright red, and I could practically see steam coming from her snotty ears. I'm not supposed to be with some random person I barely know. Jeggy was supposed to be my roomie, not that loser's, she muttered those last 3 words under her breath and glanced in my direction. I looked down, not wanting anyone to see me scowl as loser formed sharply on my thigh. Ouch. There wasn't enough anti-itch cream in the universe for that one. Of course, Snotty Amy couldn't just do me a favor. She didn't know what she was doing and be nice about it. She had to be the only person in the world who didn't care that I was the explorer leader, and it was basically the rule that you were supposed to be nice to the explorer leader. Are you okay? Mom popped out of nowhere and stroked my arm. I saw you wince. What did she call you? I'm going to have a word with that girl's mother when we get back. Here, I brought the extra strength kind. She pulled out a gigantic tube of something gross and embarrassing from her purse. Mom, I jerked away, super aware of everyone looking at the explorer leader about to be gooped up by her mommy. Sitting by her on the bus for a few minutes was one thing, but this was not okay. I'm fine. I'm used to it. I don't want the lotion. There weren't any mistakes, Mr. Todd told Snotty Amy. Your roommate is your roommate. No changes. It is what it is. Don't be blue, and don't be so mean either. I think you and I need to have a chat when we get back to school. Snotty Amy snottily sulked away. For once, I wished she had gotten what she wanted. Should we go? Jag crept up to me and pointed to the big brown cabin on our right. I guess. I couldn't bring myself to look at her, plus loser was driving me crazy. And all I could think about was getting into our cabin so I could sneakily unpeel some layers and scratch the bejeebers out of it. Miss Sigafess finished unloading the bags, so we grabbed ours and walked together in silence. Jag held the door open for me, and I went through without saying thank you for maybe the first time in my entire life. I was just not in the thank you kind of mood. The cabin was huge, It had a wide entryway, a giant living room when you first walked in, and rooms going every which way. We found the door with the big Room 1 sign on it and went inside. It was a tiny space, like the size of my bedroom. There were skinny bunk beds along one wall and two dressers along the other. The whole room, the whole cabin really, practically screamed. If you forget to close the door, you'll get eaten by a bear. Have fun. Looking around the room, I decided that it might not have been so fun on my own after all. In fact, it might have been the creepiest thing ever. But I was still more worried than relieved. I like it in here, Jeg said. It's cozy. Yep. I couldn't think of what else to say, so I pretended to be really interested in my suitcase. I unzipped it, thinking maybe I could show Jeg some of the nail polish I brought. But that's not what was right on top, like it was supposed to be. I stared for a second in complete disbelief. Another one? I was surprised that I didn't even notice Jeg come up behind me. You okay? She peeked over my shoulder. OMG, that's not like another one of those creepy notes, is it? Like the one you got at the beginning of the year? She nudged me. You never told me what that note said. And I never will. Although she wasn't acting really snotty at the moment, and it might be okay to tell someone else. She might think of something that Olivia and I hadn't. And I was kind of about to burst. It was just too weird that this was still going on. I quickly read the note to myself, then turned around to face her. This was either a brilliant idea or a huge mistake. I've been getting them all year. They say nice things. Sometimes they tell me things I have to do. I held this one up so she could see it. Have a great trip, Elise. You worked hard and deserve to enjoy every minute. Remember, someone is always going to have something bad to say, but can you remember the good you've done? The good you are. Olivia and I think it's Mr. Todd, I said once she finished reading. For once, Jeg was totally speechless. Oh. She started, but interrupted when the door to our room flung open. It was Miss Sigafess, looking like a bear in her super long, dark winter coat. If only there was a way to make sure she stayed out of our cabin. First activity is outside in 2 minutes, she growled. Jeg and I looked at each other and smiled. Geez, she whispered as we followed Miss Sigafess out the door. OMG was right. Jeg and I had a secret for the first time in months, and it felt really, really good.